Welcome back, dear friends. How remiss of me. I've been so busy making secret videos and the instructions for the small automaton motorised head kit that I've forgotten to keep you updated. Right, what I've been doing then, having ordered all the salient parts and put them into a little kit with a spreadsheet so I know what I'm doing for each one, because obviously as I make the instructions and assemble this one, I need to make sure I do it right, and suddenly I don't realise suddenly, hang on a minute, you've forgotten this, that and the other. So we've got a kit. In the end I thought with these SG90 servo motors you can pick up 20, sort of £5 on Amazon. But as with all these little things, there's just so many copies around. Tower Pro, I think, was the company who originally came up with them, and now it's meaningless. You just get a sticker on them, and they all slightly vary in size, and the quality reviews are not good on lots of the Amazon ones. So I thought I'd get them. No affiliation as always, but Pi Hut sell them. So I've got some of those, and then I know that they're the right size, right quality. Also, interestingly, which I never realised, you can get digital ones. And some of the ones I had were digital, and I reckon the one that I used in the base that kept juddering was a digital one, because apparently you get more power out of them because they work in a slightly different way. But they are prone to juddering and signal noise, whereas the analogue ones aren't. And the analogue one I used to make the head look up and down. I didn't have any problem with that. So I've gone with analogue, so that's exciting. We've got the base together. That's exciting because the 1000 ball bearings, the 5mm ones that I got, again, so consistency is my watchword. I didn't know whether they were going to fit, but they did. So that's good. We've got things painted. I've also spent ages on the head. If you remember last time, that's right, I'd ended up working out that I could make it smaller and print it, rather than in 34 hours, I could print them in about 15, which isn't bad. That's a sort of similar scale to that bit, which is the top of the head. And because you wouldn't need that bit if you have printed 3D hair, brilliant. So I got that done, tried it on, it was a bit stiff, and then I noticed one of these little bits had snapped off, so I thought, right, it's too tight there, let's tweak it a bit. So I tweaked it a bit, and sliced the top off to try and save time, and it fitted, other than a few little bits and pieces. So another tweak later, not a week, but a tweak, and I think we're happy. Oh no, that's right, adding this rim, which would then sit on top of the head, it added another 5 hours or something. It's ridiculous. And also caused a load of spaghetti to be created at the back where I hadn't quite lined things up. So I've got another design, this time with some more improvements and some little blocks that just stick out, triangular blocks, so they can be printed from underneath. But I'm going to go with this one for the instructions. Now I know that it is feasible. Alternatively, if you really do want a wig, you could. I'm going to offer the kit with the option of having just a skull. So a wig, and there's the bun at the back. So pleased I realised that I could print this by slicing the bun off the top and then print it upside down. No support structures, which saved a load more time. Just shows your ingenuity is my watchword, as well as consistency. Now that fits on there, so that's nice. And then of course the gap, which you can't hide, you put ribbon around it. Lovely. Yeah, look, here's a list of all my 3D timings. The first ones are what the slicer software says. Oh no, that's what the slicer software says. 11:35, for example. The real world is 15 hours 15. So the top of the head is 8 hours 34. The hair with no bun, 15 hours. That's not bad. It's comparable, I tells you. I was walking the dog yesterday afternoon and suddenly thought, linkages. Because I need a wire linkage, 2 wire pieces, to link the up and down looking servo motor to the neck. And I remember I've got some sprung steel wire, which is, I think it's 0.8mm diameter, and it is so difficult to bend. And then I discovered a jar of these lovely paper clips, which are 1mm diameter. So I straightened one out, what was I saying? I was designing a jig last night and these are in the kitchen. So there we are. So that's the shape of it. Not that one, and that staple shape. And there's a drawing of how it all links together. So I sorted out and I was sort of thinking about, well, do I just give people a little drawing, an engineering drawing and a paper clip and they need to bend it, or should I try and put it together? It needs to be quite precise, and I thought, oh, let's see if I can make a jig, because that would be nice. So I've got a jig planned, I've got a jig drawn out, and I've got the parts of a jig made. So that's what I'm doing now, and it is exciting, and that's why I wanted to share it with you. I'll get these 4 pieces glued together. Don't know whether this is going to work or not. I'll get back to you shortly. So I made a loop on one end of the piece of wire with me round those pliers, put a pin through, ran it along round this bit, and I'm hoping I can now, by pulling this pin out, get that apart and then cut it off, and then that's it. And that was so easy to do. The nice thing about this wire that paper clips are made of is that it's malleable, but it's still got quite a lot of spring in it. Yes. Oh, I love it when a plan comes together. I think that is fine. And then all I need to do is to cut that off at sort of 4mm or something, which is that didn't really matter that much. Now, if it's that easy, I'll definitely make these pieces up. But again, that's the interesting thing about doing these instructions. I'll need to use this bit, and I can test it, and then I might have to re-photograph it over and over again until it's working. Whether it's a wig or a jig or 3D printed hair, you just, however careful you are, you can't get away with just making one of them. I've realised that should be on my dimensions from the centre of these 2 pieces of wire. That's 4mm, and this isn't 5. So what I need to do is to make another one of these using 3mm thick acrylic for the top bit. So I've worked out what bits, because the wire is obviously slightly springy, what bits I need to make thinner and add bits and subtract bits. There's the original drawing, which is lovely, so I can now just simply try and get it to focus. I can now make the adjustments and then cut it out and make a new one, version 2. So here's the new super improved jig, and it's worked a treat. Although, obviously, the proof of the pudding is in the tasting. So what I'm going to do now is just simply, I'm not going to worry about anything else, I'm just going to connect this up with a linkage and a servo motor. I've also forgotten which one of the holes it needs to fit in, and these holes are just too small, so I'm going to drill one out. These are the things that go to make a kit. But a couple of you have suggested I get one of these, because trying to operate a servo motor, in the past I've had to then find an Arduino, program it, blah blah blah, which these things are very handy. I think AliExpress, so I say a couple of people have recommended them, so I got one, and you just plug it in. It's got 3 modes. I'm trying to sell it now, aren't I? I'm not actually. It's got 3 modes. One moves to the centre, one you can use the potentiometer, and one sweeps backwards and forwards, I think. So I'll get that set up, and then we can actually test this linkage to see whether it is correct. So I've got the servo motor fixed in, I've got the little arm, I've drilled out the hole to 1.5mm for the thing, I've got that staple. It works really nicely putting it like this. You don't need any glue to fix that little staple shaped thing in, because it's always in tension. Got that connected up with this extremely bright blue light. Look! It goes, that's right up, and it's not crushing anything, it's not straining anything, it's quite happy doing that. And then if I go through 180 degrees to the lowest point, she looks right down. And again, it's not forcing anything. I've learned that so many times with previous projects, especially automaton heads, that it's so easy to think, oh well, I'm only going to have it working between these 2 angles. But you can never guarantee it's not going to go beyond that. So I'm very pleased with that, because I now know the linkage is perfect. Now I need to work out how to set this up. It's also lovely to have a new jig to add to the family. I'll add that to that one. There's my last jig. This was the one to count out 34 5mm balls. Because if you imagine trying to count them out, it's just silly, I tell you, silly. Whereas this, you can just scoop it in, ladle them out, until it's full, and then you know you have 34. I'm so pleased to have got that sorted out. It was bugging me how to get this actually set up and built. So I've got me five steps. So now I've done that, I can take all this apart again and get on with the destructions. I've got about over 100 photos so far. I'm doing it the way I did all the instructions for the Net throb well, the reciprocating chronometer and other things, because lots of people said they really like it. A sequence usually of photographs, slowly zooming in, ever so slowly, with a voiceover that explains what to do. That way you're not trying to keep up with me racing along on video and you've got to do this and you've got what, where was what? Just splitting it into photographs is really nice. Now the next stage is makeup, cosmetics. My favourite cosmetic is powdered graphite. What I realised was that she looked far better with sort of darker eyes. And with the singing automaton, I used graphite dust to get that effect. Because the thing is, if you make a mistake, if you want to paint it or something, make one mistake and then you'll have to start all over again. However, the joyous thing about graphite powder, rather, is that you can put it on with your finger and it's basically just ground up pencil, and you can smudge it and get it just right, just how you want. If it goes wrong, hoover it off, or bit of masking tape, bit of blue tack, gets rid of everything and you can start again. And then once it's all done and you've got it just so, then you can fix it all in place with a light dusting of satin varnish spray or something like that. I should think hairspray would probably do it as well. Right, let's stop talking and start taking some more instructional photos. And here's me finished one after I've put it all on. I've just sprayed it lightly with matte varnish. It's all very shiny and looks all, well, it doesn't look too bad I suppose. It's symmetrical, that's the main thing. And I've done the eyeballs or the eyelids, and once that's dry then that fixes it all into place. Well, today's been most profitable. I've got a lot done. Loads and loads of photographs of painting the lips almost perfectly and sticking felt on. I think I've done that yesterday. And look, assembling the eye motor, that little assemblage, and the mouth solenoid as well. So we're gradually getting towards the next thing, is to assemble the base and put the neck on. Ooh, I've been so busy. This is why there's not been many videos. I've been filming the instructions on how to put together her head, as you know, and I've got that finished. And here she is. I've built another one because I've had to obviously photograph the process, and look, I'm so pleased with how that 3D printed hair turned out. That's absolutely perfect. So very pleased to have a little bit more consistency. So here are the photos that I've taken. I don't know how many of them there are. I've equalised them all and deleted as many as I can because I don't want to go on too much. There's some videos in there as well. And what I do, I go through them, and because I don't want to waffle and things, like this video, I have a publisher file. And I've got instructions. I've got how many pages? 9 pages. It's crazy, I tell you, of things to say. So I need to now sit down with my little portable voice recorder, sound recorder, and record all of those and then edit them all together on the video editing software. That's what I've been doing. But I've also been involved, as I mentioned before, in the Secret Santa. That's right, with some other makers. It's been really exciting and different to be making something for another maker. So more on that in December I don't know actually, I'll put it on the screen. There's a certain date when we're all going to release our videos together. Heavens to Betsy, it's taken me 2 hours to read out the 264 lines of instructions, which means I have got 264 images and video clips. Dear oh dear. I mean, sitting here with my lovely little Eddie Roll sound recorder and my 9 sheets of script and a blanket hanging there to try and stop so much sort of echo and things, reading this, and sadly I had baked beans on waffles for lunch, which have been repeating on me throughout these instructions. So, you know, you record sort of 5, and then the 6th one, and it's all gurgling and stuff like that. Dear, oh dear. Note to self, record things in the morning. Right, got the long, arduous video editing, but it's exciting. It's lovely to bring the spoken word to the image. Sounds very pretentious. Start doing that now. I think I'm going to hear the dog scratching, so it's probably time to take her out first. Is she here? She is. Hello, Ziggy. Do you think it's time for your walk? I would disagree. Perhaps we'll go a bit early, though. Oof. Bless her. Well, thanks very much for watching. Hopefully the next video will be the instruction video. Hope to see you next time. Please remember to click subscribe and like and all that stuff. Thanks again for watching.